I'll do the return.
Huh?
I'll do the welcome back.
Oh, okay.
Welcome back to American Warrior Radio, the place to be, folks. And I've got to tell you, we've got a very special guest on the line right now. We want to get right into it, but this is why you listen to American Warrior Radio. How often do you ever get to speak and hear the words direct from Afghanistan? We've brought you several folks from Iraq and Afghanistan. Well, with us now is Lt Col Bob Owen, live from Afghanistan. Colonel, can you hear me?
I can hear you greatly.
Oh, wonderful. Well, and your signal's coming through wonderfully as well. Thank you, first of all, so much for taking a few minutes out of your day to spend with our audience and kind of give us a brief on what's going on. Hey, Colonel, what time is it over there right now?
Right now it is 9 o'clock p.m. here.
Okay. Little difference, folks. So it's 9 o'clock, and the good Colonel has decided to spend a few minutes of his evening with us. You know, I'm Garen Cohn, and we've had kind of a compressed schedule and weren't able to get everything coordinated, but we're really interested in hearing what you got to say. And my partner here, Glenn McGuffey, wants to say hello.
Yeah, how you doing there, Colonel? And I'm retired Air Force and retired manager of the Brevard County Veteran Services team, and we're thrilled to have you here today. I understand you're a local boy. Could you kind of just give us a quick background of where you went to school and when you got in the Army, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you very much for having me on American Warrior Radio Network. And first thing I want to say, thank you for your service, Glenn, for what you've done in the Air Force there. And also thanks to Kim and Garen and everybody involved with the AVET project. I can tell you that you guys have been a supporter of not only soldiers, but of me personally during my combat tours in Iraq and also here in Afghanistan. We got some great packages from you when I was in Baghdad in 2010, and I tell you, those types of things keep the soldiers going. So all the people that are part of the American Veteran Empowerment Team, we thank you, and I know that it is a thankless task. And a lot of times you don't hear that from the soldiers that actually get the packages, but I appreciate that very much. Yes, the Space Coast is my hometown. I am a Florida boy. I lived in Cocoa Beach, I lived in Merritt Island, and I lived in Cocoa. And my parents actually still live, they live in Palm Bay right now. So we are very tied into the Brevard County area. And so I did go to Cocoa High School. I did leave the state before I graduated, but still have a lot of family and friends there. I know that my mother's listening today. I just want to say I love you, Mom, and my father and Ann and Glenn, some great loved ones and family members. To all of them, I say hello from Afghanistan. I'm sorry I don't get to talk to you a lot. But yeah, the Space Coast is my home, and now after when I got in the Army, after I graduated from Marshall University up in West Virginia. And while I was up there, I was a computer science major. I realized that hey, I got to figure out what kind of job I'm going to get when I graduate. And joined ROTC, and the Army was very good to me. I got my commission as a second lieutenant, went to Korea. Then I went to Fort Irwin, California. And I've been in the reserves now for the past 17 years. And this is my 5th combat deployment. I did 2 to Iraq and 1 to Kuwait, and here this is my 2nd one to Afghanistan. So a lot of good stuff, and I know there's a lot of veterans there in the Brevard County area. And to all of you, I say from Afghanistan, I tip my hat to you. We're still in the fight here, but you guys are awesome for all the services that you've done, and also to John Harper, also for the WMEL owner there, that Vietnam veteran himself. Thanks to his service as well.
Wow, you covered a whole lot of ground with that, Colonel.
Absolutely.
I want to jump back on something you said, though, and I'm sure your family members appreciate you getting a salute and a hello out to them. 5 deployments, and as a reservist, we talked briefly just a little bit ago about the fact that a lot of our deployed forces are augmentees, or they're made up in Guard and Reserve forces, and you're a perfect example of that.
Absolutely. I am actually in the Army Reserves, and the Army Reserves has been a huge portion of the success that has gone on over here in getting the Afghan forces to the position where that they are now. Just want to make sure that, so for people that don't know, that we are winding down the mission here in Afghanistan, and right now the combat operation here will actually end at the end of this year, at December 2014. But we are committed to continuing to partner with and help the Afghans well beyond that in training and some special operations type things. So, but the reserves do make up a big part of it. I'm actually assigned to the 10th Mountain Division here, which is an active duty infantry division.
With some
many reservists assigned to this division, so it's a great honor for me to serve with our active duty brothers.
And you've got some, it's rich in history, the 10th Mountain Division, isn't it?
Absolutely. Past Senator Bob Dole was in the 10th Mountain. He actually served in World War II with the 10th Mountain Division, and the 10th Mountain is, especially the 3rd Brigade Spartans, of which I'm a part of, have been here in Afghanistan. They were here in 2009 and also in 2004. So this is their final hurrah. The 3rd Brigade will actually be dismantled after this tour is over, and some of those soldiers will be pushed out to other units. So this is the last hurrah for the Spartan Brigade here in Paktia province in Afghanistan.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about what your current job is, Lieutenant Colonel.
Absolutely. I have the honor of being the commander of the Security Force Advise and Assist team that's here in the Operational Coordination Center for the region. Now, that's a mouthful.
Oh, it is.
You can't put that on your name tag.
I actually have the pleasure of working with indirectly senior Afghan military leaders in trying to advise and assist them to get their forces ready to take over full operational capabilities in December of 2014 when our combat mission ends. I work every day with a gentleman by the name of Brigadier General Israr. He is an old Soviet-trained Afghan type, and he's going to be retired here in about 3 years, but he appreciates me. I come up to his office every day, and we discuss how to help make his forces better. And I've got a great team of people here on my team. I've worked with 17 of these active duty soldiers, and we actually have a couple of airmen on our team too as well. And we assist them with everything from intelligence gathering, trying to find out who the bad guys are so that they can go out and get these guys, as well as helping them with things like their radios and their networks. We got a great team of Air Force guys that assist us with that, and also with logistics. That's one of the biggest problems in the Afghan Army is the logistics, and so we're trying to get them to be able to see themselves and learn how to ask for fuel, get ammunition, and be able to put these requests in. So it's a very challenging environment here, but I can tell you that what I see that they have come a long, long way, and they are going to have full responsibility for this security by the end of this year.
Well, give us an example if you would, because we've been over there a long time, and as you know, a lot of Americans have completely forgotten that there's a war going on. All right, the press, the media generally doesn't speak about it, at least not in any kind of a positive light. And whenever it does come up, it's because we've lost another warrior here or there, or some other tragedy has occurred. But give us some example or some assessment of how you've seen it change in the time you've been the commander there.
Absolutely, and I've been here. I was here last year too as well. So from July of 2012 to July of 2013, I was home for 3 months, and then I'm right back here again, and we're here till July of this year. So I was here last summer. I can tell you it was a tough summer. It was a tough learning experience. The Afghan security forces have faced a lot of challenges, and they've taken casualties, but they've risen to the challenge every day. They've shown great courage and great growing professionalism in the last few months. And I tell you what, the gains that they're getting is going to help them to prevent the enemies of Afghanistan from gaining ground or working on or trying to continue to disrupt the political process that's going on here. But what I've seen is the Afghan security forces, they're mounting their own operations across the country with minimal or no U.S. support. Currently, they're leading about 1,000 patrols a day on their own.
Wow.
Planning and conducting these complex operations, and they're developing their skills. And the things that we're trying to help them with is like how to request helicopter support. They've got some helicopters. They're trying to get that, so it's those enablers like fires and artillery and helicopters. and things like that are a little challenging for them. So we're really working on it. But the days of us going out and kicking in doors and performing combat operations is over. We don't do those as part of the U.S. forces except for a few special operations groups, which I'm not part of. You have to ask somebody else about them. But on all of these things, this is Afghanistan is in the lead of these security operations, and they've come a long way. We train them. They know how to shoot. They know how to move, and they know how to communicate. And to all of you guys there, Glenn, he was in the Air Force. I'm sure he's heard shoot, move, and communicate before.
Oh, yeah.
Things that if an Army knows how to shoot, move, and communicate, they're going to be successful. And I've seen them come a long way since we've been here.
What just enlighten me too, I guess. What the Afghan security forces? What do they consist of? Do they have an air force, or just is helicopters the main air power that they have, and those kind of things?
Well, right now the Afghan National Army actually has a recruited force of 187,000, and this is a huge increase of over 92,000 when they were in October of 2009. So they've actually they've been growing and growing. The Afghan National Police is a very vital part of the security forces here too. There's about 150,000 of them, and this represents a huge growth of more than 55,000 from October 2009. This is what we consider the surge from October 2009 up to now. And the bottom line is getting the Afghans to a sustainable force so that when we leave, that they can handle their security here. They can take care of the Taliban, the Haqqani networks, and Al-Qaeda on their own. And they're actually doing it. They are at the numbers where they need to be now. And so what they're doing is there is an Afghan Air Force. It is still fledgling and growing. And there's some... The Air Force part itself is going to take a longer period of time, but we're going to have U.S. trainers here beyond 2014. I want the Brevard County residents there to know that just because they hear or they see something that says American troops are coming home, we're still going to have a contingent of 8,000 to 10,000 folks here for the foreseeable future, for quite a few years. Those people will be assisting with those types of training and learning how to get those enablers, the helicopter support, the artillery support, the logistics support. Those are going to be the focuses. We're no longer going to be out there, doing combat operations.
So you're one of the pioneers, actually, as a commander of the Advise and Assist team, and there'll be others that come after you. Your successors will carry on the mission, but it sounds like you've laid down a lot of the groundwork already. One thing I wanted to ask you, you were on a tour, you were deployed, you came back, and you only got 3 months off before they sent you back over?
Yeah, that was due to my own doing. There's a lot of work left to be here. I actually believe in this mission, and I believe in what we're doing here. And right now, my home is Charlotte, North Carolina. That's where my children are, and that's where my home is. I have a civilian job, but being in the reserves now, I've been in enough where the Army's. I'm getting old. They're only going to let me stay in for about another 2 years, and so I'm trying to maximize that time that I'm in to be able to be as effective as possible. So my employer was very beneficial in that and supporting me. And to all the employers out there that may be listening, if you have an employee that is in the National Guard or the reserves, and they tell you that they want to deploy or that they've been ordered to deploy, I thank you very, very much for the support that you allow them to do that and not give them a hard time. Because I tell you, it's very difficult when you have a full-time job, and I know that some of those in the Space Coast there are going away, but for those that are fortunate to do that and be also serving in the reserves or National Guard, to have that employer support is just absolutely huge. It is very important. There's laws protecting those employees. The bottom line is when your boss says, go make America proud, your job's waiting here for you when you get back, those are the kind of employers that we love to work with and will stay with for a long time.
You bet, and as you mentioned, there are laws about that. Unfortunately, some people who aren't so supportive of our military have found ways around that, and people have lost their jobs while they've gone off to defend our freedom and defend the freedom of, in this case, the Afghanis. But there's fortunately, a heck of a lot more that have signed on board. Big corporations, Sears comes to mind. In fact, Sears, to my knowledge, are still continue to pay the people while they're serving once they're called active duty to go into the combat areas. So that's some great advice for our community here, and we want to thank our community for all their support for our veterans, because we've got a couple of reserve units here who've been deployed more than once. So.
Right, and the ESGR, as you were mentioning, Colonel, is a vital part of that. The employer support of the Guard and Reserve, which is very active here, particularly with the 920th Rescue Wing being as large as it is, some 1,200 troops. They do show some pretty good support, and we're proud of that fact. And sir, you're so well spoken, and you're really putting forth the deliverables here for the interview. You make it easy, because I'm thinking this is what we need, folks. We need leaders. We need leadership like the commander here, not just abroad, but back here at home, to make these tough choices. And you're working directly with these folks that we're going to be, we're going to be moving back out, and they're going to be in charge. And you have a very positive attitude about their ability to do so, is the bottom line, right?
Well, I have to, and I know you guys are a talk radio station, and I don't get those stations over here, but when I'm back home, I hear a lot of negative things about what's going on over here, and it's easy to talk negatively about what's going on over here when they're in the comforts of their homes in America. But
exactly.
We're actually over here in the mountains in eastern Afghanistan, and every day you look in the eyes and you shake the hands of the Afghans and you breathe the air, and you see the look in their eyes when you actually show them something new, how appreciative they are of what that is. That's what gets us through our day here. We're all away from our families, and we'd rather be home, but we're here, and the bottom line is we believe in what we're doing, and it's going to be successful. There are no other options. So to those that say that that this is a lost hope and it's a lost cause and all that, I got it. I understand there's a lot of political debates that can be had, and a lot of those positions may be valid. But the bottom line is ask the soldiers who were here on the ground, shaking the hands and looking in the eyes every day of Afghans, get their opinions. I think that matters a lot more than a guy sitting in a booth somewhere spewing some kind of something he doesn't know anything about.
Yeah, doesn't know anything about is the big point there, and I agree with you totally. Talk to somebody who's been there and done that.
Exactly, and we're definitely talking with somebody right now. Is there anything, you said that you're coming to close on your career in a couple, 3-4 years here. Is there anything after you leave Afghanistan that you think and it's not nation building, we're going in there to secure a future for the Afghans and to protect our very own future also from, terroristic attacks and what have you. Is there anything that you think the folks back here should be spouting off about that we need to do more of? In other words, can we give them some direction on how to be more effective as advocates for your job and what you're trying to accomplish?
Well, that's a great question. I would say that for the American public that's listening to your station, as well as others that are out there that are not tuned into this program, is that if you can just keep in mind that when we first got here, we came in here after 9/11. We had a very distinctive mission. And that distinctive mission was to ensure that Afghanistan would no longer be a haven for terrorists, so they could not plan attacks and attack American soil. We achieved that mission. That was a success. And then while we're here, there are things that we could not have predicted back then, but while we're here, we see that there is a need, that if we can get this Afghan army self-sustainable and the police self-sustainable, then that will prevent us from having to stay and keep troops here for many, many, many years. Just like, Glenn there, he served, and, John Harper there, he served in Vietnam. We know that lasted a long time, and they took a lot more casualties in Vietnam than we did here. There's 2,500 American soldiers, give or take about 10, that have given their lives here in Afghanistan. And, for every single one of them, we are here ensuring that they're not forgotten. That we go to work every day to say, I'm going to do the best I can do, and my guys do the best they can do every single day, so that those guys are remembered and that their services and their memories are honored. And I would say that's it. Just if you see a soldier, shake his hand and thank him.
Absolutely.
That goes a very, very long way. It's not an easy job. And to those, the last thing I'll tell you is, for those soldiers out there that have problems with their employer or those things, I believe that the AZAT project actually knows the right way to steer them. And if they look up you guys on Facebook or online, I think they're going to find a great advocate in helping them. And at least you'll get them. If you don't know the answer, I know that you guys know the people that do know the answer, and I appreciate the fact that you're there to help them too as well.
Well, thank you, sir. Honestly, we are. We'll do whatever we can. If folks want to find out more about your mission and the successes that you've had and your units had, is there any particular way, any particular website that they can investigate and read a little more about the Spartans?
If they want to, they can actually go to the 3rd Brigade Spartans website, or Facebook page. It's awesome. It's called Task Force Spartan on Facebook. If you just type that in, you'll see it. That is the 3rd Brigade, Pence Mountain Division here in Pactia. We got about 10,649 likes as of right now. But if you go on there, you'll see pictures of our units. You'll see soldiers in action. You'll see Afghans working hand in hand, and you'll see news stories and clips and videos. Lots of great stuff. Task Force Spartan on Facebook is a great way to see what my particular unit is doing.
Wonderful. Again, folks, that's why we ask you to grab a pencil and paper. Task Force Spartan. You can Google it as well, but you're going to find out all kinds of great stuff, because that's how we came up with some of our information. And, sir, you're just doing a fine job, and you're such an incredible representative of the phenomenal people we have representing us in the United States military. And you're so mission-driven. It comes through crystal clear. But you just like all the guys and gals that came home recently from the 715th MP Company, you're tasked with a job. You go over there, and to the absolute best of your ability, you're going to accomplish it.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And I just got a little note that my sister's listening in too. She actually served as well and was a staff sergeant in the Army. I love you very much. Thank you for your service, Sergeant. And I appreciate that. And you guys have been incredible. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to let our voices be heard, because we don't get that a lot. We share it with our folks at home, but it's nice to be able to let my hometown there in Brevard County. You know, I claim all three: Cocoa Beach, Merritt Island, and Cocoa as well.
Why not?
So I thank you guys for everything that you do and in supporting our warriors with the Warrior Radio Network.
Well, came through crystal clear to me, your dedication, and I know that must rub off on everybody you come into contact with, your Afghani counterparts and your troops over there. And I certainly will keep you in my prayers every day, and your men and women and the Afghanis that you work with. And is there anything more you would like to share with us before we let you get to sleep?
Well, yeah, gotta get some sleep. I'll be up early in the morning, going to helping actually for a big festival, ensuring that their security is straight for that. The last thing I'll leave you with is just thank you to all the American public there, and certainly all the Space Coast veterans, not only that have served, but to continue to serve in these extra events like the AVET projects and all the things that you guys are doing right there in Brevard County. Please keep that up. Please support your local veterans groups and these types of things, because it is important. Because when we come home, we love to see a smiling face and a warm handshake, and it's always nice to be able to come home to family. But it's great when other people have been here and they say, "I know what you've been through," and if we have a tough time, we know we got a shoulder there that we can talk to and to hold on to, and you guys just keep it up, and we'll all get back and we'll make it good. And this whole thing will end up being a success in the end.
Outstanding. Lieutenant Colonel Bob Owen is the man that's been calling us live from Afghanistan. Sir, once again, thank you so much for spending some time with us. And yeah, like Glenn said, and like you said, you got a busy day tomorrow, so we'll let you hit the rack. But stay safe. We're praying for you and all of your troops over there, as well as the Afghan folks. We want them to succeed so that your mission is a success.
You got it. Absolutely. And I'll leave you with this. Army strong.
All right.
Wonderful.
Thank you again, sir. Be safe.
Folks,
You're welcome.
you've just heard from Lieutenant Colonel Bob Owen, born and raised right here on the Space Coast. A wonderful man. I'm telling you, Glenn, when I hear these warriors, just like we've had some of the headquarters staff in the past, we've got some phenomenally good leaders.
Oh, absolutely. And don't forget that the troops that they lead are the best that America has in our youth, and of course some of the reservists are not all as youthful as the active duty people are, or the most of the active duty people are, and you could, it just pours through to me, the dedication, the pride,
no kidding,
and the desire to be successful, and the understanding of what that success means.
And folks, our producer handed me this note. I just have to mention that Colonel Owen mentioned he'd been deployed to Iraq several times, now Afghanistan several times, and other places around the world. AVET Project does support our troops that are deployed in imminent danger areas as well as other places through our EEB, Empowerment Equipment Box program. It's a care package, enhanced care package. If you'd like to support men, just like you heard from men, women, and his troops, you can do so. Go to avetproject.org, click on the PayPal button, and donate $15 to cover the postage for us to ship one of these EEBs over to the troops. We'd certainly appreciate it. And gosh, Glenn, I'm just amazed at how phenomenal our leadership is in the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines.
That's right, and as we wind down towards the end here, tell them real quick who's a veteran, because a lot of people still don't understand they're a veteran.
If you served honorably in the United States military, if you wore the uniform, you're a veteran if you served honorably. And let's just leave it at that. If there's a little qualifiers, that's fine. Veterans Crisis Line, 1-800-273-8255, press 1. 800-273-8255, press 1.
And as always, don't forget, thank a vet. Hey.